What's going on, everybody? It's Sasha, your licensed real estate market expert here in Charlotte. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back for another monthly market report for the month of October. Always keep in mind, even though it is October right now, all the information and the housing stats that we go over are going to be from the month of September. We do this so we have an entire month of data compiled together so we have the most accurate information possible. So the real estate market right now is really not moving. We're not seeing that many changes as opposed to last month, but we just have so much going on right now. So many different factors that potentially could affect the housing market, but we're going to get into that here shortly. If you guys haven't already done so, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and leave me a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on the housing market, what you think might happen, and maybe on some of the information that we go over because there's so much happening right now. So let's talk about a couple things here that are going to be affecting the real estate market. Deutsche Bank says there's 100% chance of a recession here in the United States. For those of you that don't know, Deutsche Bank is the leading provider of financial services to agencies, corporations, governments, and private individuals and institutions in America. When you go on their website, the first thing that you see is financing America for 150 years. If there's anybody that knows about American finances, it's going to be them. And they are saying that we have 100% chance of a recession happening here in the US. Not only that, second thing, let's talk about mortgage rates. Mortgage rates, as of right now, the day I'm filming, taking a look at this screen here, with a 720 to 740 credit score, with a 20% down payment, without buying down the rate, without doing anything like that, you're looking at an 8.23% interest rate. Yes, you can buy down your rate. Yes, you can do adjustable rate mortgages and things like that. But right now, if you had a credit score of 720 to 740, you put down 20% on a $500,000 house, you're looking at an 8.23% interest rate. The National Association of Realtors wrote a letter to the Federal Reserve saying, hey, stop hiking these rates. It's going to destroy everything as far as the housing market goes with inventory. It's going to cause people's mortgage payments to just keep going up, where to the point where we're not going to see almost any real estate activity, even though we're at all-time lows right now. Speaking of all-time lows, mortgage applications are at the lowest point they've been in 28 years. Since 1996, we have not seen this many low mortgage applications happening in the real estate market. What does that do to? Number one, the interest rates. Number two, the current prices. We still haven't seen the price declines that a lot of us thought were going to happen due to all these different factors. So housing prices coupled with the high interest rates, 28-year low on mortgage applications. Fourth thing, ongoing conflict. We have the war happening in Ukraine and Russia. We also have the Middle Eastern conflict happening right now. And according to this, it's gonna affect the US in a lot of different ways. One of the biggest ways I'm seeing is going to be the gas prices. And not only do we have all of this geopolitical stuff, we have conflict popping up all over the place. And we're also creeping up on election year. It's always funny, we start to see so much conflict as we get into election years. So as the months go by, we're gonna see how things start to play out. But with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and hop into these stats. And these stats, just like the last 2 or 3 months or so, they're kind of crazy. They're essentially all over the place. And right now, so I want to tell you guys, as of right now, as we sit here, this whole huge market crash, houses going down by 30, 40, 50%. Right now, I do not see that possibility of that happening at all when you're talking about those percentage numbers. This, in my opinion, is going to be a very long and drawn out process. The low supply of inventory, the amount of people that own their homes outright, the amount of people that have interest rates under 3%, under 4%, those people are not moving right now. One thing I will say that's very interesting is a lot of people make the argument of, the baby boomer generation, ages 58 to 76, I believe. They don't have a mortgage. So why in the world would they move? You don't have a mortgage, your house is paid outright. Your retirement isn't going up and your pension is not going up. But what is going up is the property values. So a lot of these people that are in retirement, that are on pension and things like that, your property taxes have gone up drastically. In North Carolina alone, they're at least up 50% depending on exactly where you are. Some have actually doubled as far as the property taxes go in the last 1 to 2 years. So a lot of these people that actually have these houses paid off, they have absolutely no mortgage, might not be able to afford to live in the house that they're in right now, might not be able to afford daily necessities because the cost of living has gone up 40%. So we might start to see here in the next couple of months, next couple of years, these people start listing their houses for sale, downsizing, more renters, and things of that nature. But with that being said, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and now let's hop into the stats, and starting with new listings. So in regards to new listings, we had 4,294 new listings in the month of September, and that is an 8.6% decrease from this time last year. And when comparing it to the month prior of August, it's about 275 less new listings than we had. So in regards to the new listings, we're going to see this trajectory continue to go down as we start heading into the fall and winter time. Things tend to slow down, but if you're a buyer out there, I very much encourage you, if you're still buying a house right now, if you're still planning to in the next couple of months, right now is going to be a very good time to get your ducks in a row. And it's also, in my opinion, going to be a very good time to find good deals in this real estate market. What's interesting about this is if you look at 2023, if you look at the graph here at the bottom, you can see what we have happening. The last time we had something like this happen was actually in 2009. And what is that after? That was after the 2008 housing crisis that we had. So I don't know if this is going to show us a little bit of an indicator of what's to come, but in my opinion right now, with the rates, with the prices, I don't see too many people listing their houses unless some of these other factors that we spoke about earlier start to impact people in a different way, and we almost have like another black swan type of event like we had with the pandemic. Next up, let's talk about pending sales, and we had 3,336 home sales pending in the month of September, and that is a 4.1% decrease from this time last year. It's about 300 less home sales that we have pending. So according to all the charts, this is all normal. Less new listings, less pending sales. But what's going to happen, in my opinion, as you look at this graph here of what we had last December, you guys can see that it's going to an all-time low. I think this will surpass and be the new all-time low due to the interest rates. Last year, these interest rates were 1 to 1.5% less than they are currently. So in my guess, as we're seeing the prices still stay stable, if not relatively going up a little bit, but the interest rates keep going up as well. So it's making houses less affordable for people. So I think we're going to surpass the 2022 numbers that we have as far as pending sales as we head into December. Now let's get into days on market, which came in at 29, and that is a 26.1% increase from this time last year. And you can see, according to the chart, it's staying relatively flat and relatively stable. Right now, just like I had mentioned a month or two ago in my video, everything seems to be 50-50. In my neighborhood specifically, we've had about 5 or 6 houses listed in the last month and a half, which for my neighborhood is absolutely crazy. And a lot of them have been sitting for a couple of weeks, and it's kind of been all over the place. You know what I mean? There's a house listed for $500,000, beautiful, renovated, has a garage. Then you have a very similar home that doesn't have a garage, and they're listing it at $490,000, and it's still selling. A good amount have had price decreases. The largest price decrease I saw was a house in my neighborhood listed at $520,000 after they probably got absolutely no showings. And a new house in my neighborhood came up that was better, got listed for $500,000. They decreased the price by $30,000 in a matter of 3 weeks. So again, more days on market, the better it is for a buyer. You have a lot more negotiating power. The less days on market, the better it is for seller and houses selling quickly. Right now, there's a lot of good leverage to be had for buyers when it comes to a lot of this stuff. There's a lot of negotiations happening. There's a lot of closing costs being paid for. There's a lot of repairs being made when you get to that negotiation stage of the process. So like I mentioned, these next 6 months, I think there's going to be a lot of good deals out there. Now let's get into the real estate prices, starting with the average sales price. The average sales price in the month of September came in at $470,000, and that is a 4.7% increase from this time last year. However, guys, if you check the chart right here, you'll see in June the average sales price was $485,000. So we're looking at about a $15,000 difference versus average sales price in June versus what we have in September. And in my opinion, we're going to see a lot of seasonality take into effect. And that again brings us up to getting a good deal, a good price on a house. So I think we're going to see the average sales price continue to go down as we head into the winter months. Median sales price is staying very stable. Our median home sales price came in at $380,000, and that is a 0.2% decrease from this time last year, but we're down about 5% from our all-time highs. We had an all-time high of $400,000 for our median sales price, and right now we're sitting at about $380,000. Now let's get into the percentage of the original list price received, which came in at 97.7, and that is a 0.5% decrease from this time last year. Essentially, what this is telling you is you can expect to pay 2.3% below the listed price when the house is closed. This is getting a lot better, and looking back at some of the charts of what happened in real estate in the Charlotte area between 2008 and 2012, we didn't see too many price drops, but the percentage of the original list price received, believe it or not, was around 90%, meaning during that recession time, people were able to get 10% off on average on the listed price. However, the average sales prices and the median sales prices stayed relatively flat, and it was all just seasonality. So ups and downs as the seasons went, which I think is going to happen in these next couple of years. It's going to be a very slow up and down ride unless we again have some of these geopolitical events that take place that throw things completely out of balance. Really quick, I want to touch on the closed sales that we had in the month of September, which came in at 3,316. That is a 24.9% decrease from this time last year. So closed sales, meaning somebody put an offer in on a house, they got the offer accepted, and they actually handed over the keys to the new buyer, is down 25%. A quarter of the volume that we had previously and that we had last year. This plays a major factor into what is happening in the real estate market. Things are just very slow. They're feeling very dull for the most part. There's still houses that get listed that sell right away. There's still multiple offers happening, believe it or not. But I'm just saying the real estate transactions are down a fourth right now. 25%. It's something to pay attention to. And if these interest rates stay this way and or start to go higher, we're going to see this number continue to drop. Last but not least, months of inventory, which is one of the many things that are causing this real estate market to be the way it is. Months of inventory came in at 1.7 months of inventory, and that is a 5.6% decrease from this time last year. But if you look at this chart, you can start to see it's the tiniest little thing starting to build up. I will say, however, it is a little bit interesting because I'm still seeing a lot of coming soon listings in the market, and comparing the homes that we have on the market now versus what we had a year and a half to 2 years ago are very different. A year and a half to 2 years ago, there was a lot of houses that just weren't worth the money at all. They had no updates. They were essentially all original from the 80s and 90s, and even those houses were getting multiple offers. So I would take somebody out to go look at 5 homes, and out of those 5, we'd be lucky if we see one of those homes that's completely renovated, completely move-in ready. But again, multiple offers were going crazy at that time. But now I feel like the inventory that is on the market is essentially almost flipped. Now when I take somebody out to look at 5 homes, most of the time, 2, 3 of them are going to be very nice and are going to be very much a contender. It's interesting to see these changes in the marketplace, take place. That sounded weird, but it's just interesting to see how these things are unfolding. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave me a comment down below, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye.